In that case, officers learned that a vehicle with 2 occupants drove past a residence when the gunfire erupted. No one was shot or injured in that incident. Our investigators identified the vehicle associated with the gunfire and executed a search warrant on the 2000 block of Taylor Street. Officers arrested 2 individuals and seized 3 firearms. Amanda Tom, 25, and Muhammad Hussein, 23, were booked in jail for negligent discharge of a firearm. At this time, we do not have any evidence to suggest this incident was related to the case on Friday, but both cases remain active. If anyone has information about these cases, please contact the San Francisco Police Department at 415-575-4444 or text a tip to tip 411 and begin the message with SFPD. Now I want to welcome Acting Special Agent in charge of the FBI's San Francisco Field Office, Matt Cobo.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it, Chief Liu. Thank you. My name is Matt Cobo. I serve as the Acting Special Agent in charge for San Francisco FBI. Today's charges outline a dangerous and deliberate plan to bring violence into San Francisco. The defendant is alleged to having traveled across state lines with the intent to both target an individual and a major technology company. This was not spontaneous. This was planned, targeted, and extremely serious. The FBI brings unique authorities and capabilities in cases like this, and especially with threats across state lines. This law enforcement team here, they move quickly, identify the suspect, assess the threat, and coordinate across multiple jurisdictions. As part of this investigation, the FBI today executed a court-authorized search warrant at the defendant's residence located in Spring, Texas. This showed our ability to be able to act in partnership anywhere across this country. Whether a threat begins just across the road or across the country, the FBI has a reach and the resources to respond. Let me be clear. We will not tolerate the individuals coming into our areas of responsibility to carry out acts of violence. If you travel here with the intent of harming our people, damaging our property, and intimidating our communities, you will be identified, investigated, and brought to justice. The FBI is committed to protecting our nation's innovation leaders and the companies that drive our economy forward. Whether they come from individuals, these individuals can come from threat groups or criminal enterprises, we're going to meet that threat and address it accordingly. Acts targeting technology companies are not just local crimes, they have broader implications in economic security and public safety. This case highlights the strengths of partnerships. That's clear today. SFPD officers were absolutely critical in an immediate response and investigations on the ground, and they continue to investigate with the absolute incredible professionalism. The San Francisco District Attorney's Office and the United States Attorney's Office ensure these cases are charged appropriately and pursued aggressively. We are a united front here, and we are going to keep this city of San Francisco safe. I want to thank the investigators, the analysts, the partnerships for their swift efforts in moving this case forward. We will continue to stand vigilant. We will work together and use every tool available to prevent violence and protect this great city of San Francisco. And I'll turn it over to our District Attorney, Brooke Jenkins. Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you. I first and foremost want to say that I'm grateful that Mr. Altman, his family, and his employees were uninjured in these attacks and are safe. I want to thank the San Francisco Police Department, the FBI, and all of our federal partners, as well as those law enforcement agencies in Texas, for their swift attention to this and the level of partnership that took place in order to make sure that we could build a chargeable case. My office has now filed charges against Daniel Moreno Gama in connections with the incidents that took place on April 10th. First, I will outline the charges in connection with the incident that took place at Mr. Altman's residence. We have charged as follows: attempted murder for victim Sam Altman, including an allegation that it was willful, deliberate, and premeditated, as well as an enhancement for the possession and use of a deadly weapon, which was the incendiary device. Attempted murder for the security guard that was at Mr. Altman's home with the same allegation and enhancement. We have charged attempted arson of the home in violation of Penal Code Section 455, subsection A, possession of a destructive device in a public place in violation of Penal Code Section 18715, subsection A, possession of a destructive device or explosive with the intent to injure or intimidate in violation of Penal Code Section 18740, and exploding or igniting a destructive device with the intent to murder in violation of Penal Code Section 18745. With respect to the incident that took place at the OpenAI headquarters, we have charged the following crimes: attempted criminal threats as it relates to the security guard that was present, as well as an allegation of use of a deadly weapon, possession of a deadly weapon. A violation of Penal Code Section 453, subsection A, which makes it a crime to possess or manufacture an incendiary device with the intent to willfully or maliciously commit arson. And a third charge, which is attempted arson in violation of Penal Code Section 455, subsection A. Be assured that this conduct is being taken seriously. We interpret this behavior for just what it is: an attempt on Mr. Altman's life and an extreme danger to those around him and those who work for his company. As the DA, my office will prosecute this case to the fullest extent of the law. This should also be a moment where our nation reflects on the often incendiary rhetoric that is being used in discussions about artificial intelligence and its future impacts on our society. In no way should we be at the point where a man could have lost his life over differences of opinion and concerns. We must, as I've said before about political rhetoric, turn down the temperature of our discussions and engage in healthy dialogue. We must focus on solutions towards protecting our workforce and protecting each other. But as we have said today, this type of conduct, this type of behavior is something that we will investigate and prosecute fully, and it will never be accepted in San Francisco. I would like to now turn it over to the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District, Craig Masakian.
Thank you, D.A. Jenkins. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Craig Masakian, the United States Attorney for the Northern District of California. Earlier today, my office filed federal charges against Daniel Moreno Gama, the individual who is suspected of traveling to San Francisco from Texas in order to kill the CEO of a major AI company. Before describing the allegations in our federal complaint, I want to emphasize that what I'm about to describe are just that. They are allegations. Every defendant is entitled to a presumption of innocence unless and until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. As alleged in the federal complaint, in the early morning hours of April 10th, Mr. Moreno Gama traveled to two neighboring residences in San Francisco owned by the CEO. He allegedly approached the residences, threw a Molotov cocktail that caused a fire, and then fled. He then went to the headquarters of the AI company, attempted to break the glass doors of the building with a chair, and said that he had come to burn down the location and kill everyone inside. SFPD gratefully promptly responded. They found the incendiary devices, kerosene, a lighter, and a document that Mr. Moreno had apparently authored. This document contained views opposed to AI and AI executives and reflected that the author had killed or attempted to kill the CEO. The federal complaint contains 2 charges, one count of violating 26 U.S.C. 5861 subsection D, possession of an unregistered firearm, and 18 U.S.C. 844I, damage and destruction of property by means of explosives. We are at the beginning of this investigation, but if the evidence shows that Mr. Moreno Gama executed these attacks to change public policy or to coerce government or other officials, we will treat this as an act of domestic terrorism and together with our partners prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. One final word to echo what DA Jenkins said. I want to remind people to disagree. It is okay to disagree. It is okay to debate. This is a country that was built on both. But remember, the truth is often found in that very narrow space where 2 competing ideas come together and clash, and we will not tolerate any attempt to change the way Americans live and work or think for supporting the very quick action that was taken. From my office, Alexis James, who is with us here today. She worked night and day over the weekend to do everything that was necessary to charge the defendant and to facilitate that occurred in Texas. So to Alexis, thank you. And with that, I will open it up for
said here this is an ongoing investigation and there's a lot of details we're not.
I am curious about the contents of that document and if that's laying into these charges as well.
Was from those documents and statements that he made. Is it an ongoing investigation? But this is also a case of hate and his.
Well, 2 questions. Just to follow up on that last one, would you? Just follow. And then the other question is how do you run parallel prosecutorial issues of prosecuting somebody twice for the same incident? Local charges. How do you balance that? How do you find that middle ground?
Speak to this, but we have had considerable conversation already. That there will be continued communication. Yes, we can. Our job right now is to make sure that for which there's federal jurisdiction, we have needing to make sure that again we protect both prosecutions. It will.
I agree with that. An individual who lives in the city of San Francisco enforcement. It is their job, and they do a great job at it of protecting the residents and of the city and county of San Francisco. Interests in this case that we need to explore, and at this point we will file the federal charges. The state most likely run in tandem, and at some point down the road, if it makes sense for one or the other to step back, that's a possibility. And the federal side, and it is important for both sides to file charges, and I do not anticipate any issue.
Okay, so what do those charges actually lead to? How many years behind bars? And the question from Houston, from the stations in Houston, is asking if you guys know.
I can answer the college. So we don't have a college that he was affiliated with at some point over the last year was Texas.
For our state charges, he is facing 19 years to life in prison.
When is he expected to be in court? And was that in federal court or?
And I anticipate he will make his appearance in state court tomorrow in federal court, but that's something we will work out through dialogue with the
Monday and staying in a hotel in the Union Square area. Can you tell me in any for this? Can anybody tell me what he might have been doing in those?
So yeah, so we're still movements and those things, so can't really comment about details on what he. No.
So two questions. The one involving the Molotov cocktail, and then yesterday's shooting. Is there any evidence that Mr. Altman was online or questions about whether the defendant in this case is at all linked? So could you speak to whether there's any evidence of that?
Very active, like everyone stated here, investigation. Really any motivations even.
You guys, we got time for two more questions, okay? Right here.
Hi, so quick question. So we know in the manifesto, do we know who else is on his list? And also, a lot of people have located a Substack channel attributed to him that where he can we confirm whether it belongs to him? Thank you.
So let me do. I'll take the first question, and then we'll get the second question. The boss here is allowing us time here. So review this document you are referring to as the manifesto. We have thoroughly gone through that. We've reviewed it. We did identify individuals in the San Francisco PD. We did what we call is duty to warn, and all those, I think we have every one of those people is, and we do not assess that there's any specific threat to any of those through the course of this weekend. No, we will constantly be vigilant as going through social media accounts, conducting more interviews. There's a lot more work to be done, and if we uncover any of that, that's our one priority. The people of this country, and so we will do that. But that duty to warn and those efforts were made very, very quickly. I'm, just out of protecting those people right out this time, no. Yep. Thank you.
Last question.
The second Substack question.
To do on that, but yeah, there was that referenced in the document that we.
Are you working alone? Are there other suspects being investigated, or is he have acted alone?
Right, especially with San Francisco PD and the FBI, we take a look. Any co-conspirators, any people who have any information about, and that's when you take a meticulous look at every single thing in this particular case. Not only in San Francisco, but for our country, and so we're going to do our darndest.
You guys have our email and our phone number if you need to follow up with anything.
You broke that.